It's a quiet December morning in 2015. Alonzo Knowles is boarding a flight from Freeport, Bahamas to New York City. He's traveling light. In his carry-on bag, nothing suspicious. No laptop, no hard drives, nothing that could incriminate him if someone looked. He thinks he's being careful, but in his head, the passwords to 130 of Hollywood's biggest stars. He's flying to New York to meet a buyer in Manhattan. The deal on the table? $80,000 for 15 unreleased TV scripts and social security numbers of 3 professional athletes and an actress. To prove he's the real deal, he's already sent samples, including intimate personal videos stolen from hacked cloud accounts. What Knowles doesn't know is that the buyer waiting for him isn't a buyer at all. This is the story of a 23-year-old former DJ from the Bahamas who spent years obsessively collecting the private lives of celebrities, who learned to hack by watching YouTube tutorials and buying malware from online forums, and who tried to sell Hollywood secrets to the highest bidder. A story of greed, arrogance, and how one man's inability to keep his mouth shut turned a potential fortune into a prison sentence. This story is based on documented events, official court records, and information released by investigators and authorities involved in the case. If you're enjoying this, consider subscribing for more hacker stories. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. Full list of sources is available in the video description.
The investigation began with a phone call, early December 2015. A popular radio host receives an unusual offer. A man calling himself Jeff Motzi claims he has something valuable to sell. Unreleased scripts from an upcoming season of a hit drama series. Why a radio host? Knowles had been watching, researching, looking for someone in the entertainment industry who might be interested in exclusive content, someone with connections, someone who could either buy or help him find buyers. The radio host seemed like the perfect middleman. He was wrong. To prove he's serious, Knowles sends a sample, an intimate personal video, stolen from a television host and columnist's private email account. The radio host doesn't negotiate. He doesn't play along. He contacts authorities and agrees to work as a confidential informant for Homeland Security investigations. Within days, Homeland Security Investigations has an undercover agent in place. They set up a FaceTime call with Jeff Motzi, and that's when Alonzo Knowles starts talking. This is 2015, just 1 year after the fappening exposed hundreds of celebrities' private photos in a massive iCloud breach. The FBI was still hunting those hackers. Hollywood was still reeling. Security experts were warning everyone about cloud vulnerabilities. And Knowles? He was watching, learning, studying their methods, thinking he could do it better, more organized, more profitable. He was about to prove how right and how wrong he was.
Over the next 2 weeks, Knowles and the undercover agent communicate through video calls. Knowles is confident. He's bragging. Day 3 of the investigation. Knowles is leaning back in his chair during a video call, grinning. He holds up a script to the camera. Pages clearly visible, watermarks showing. "See this?" he says. That's how you know it's real. With each video call, Knowles digs himself deeper. He claims he has material worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. He shows the agent lists of victims, email addresses, and phone numbers. 130 people, actors, athletes, musicians, media executives, even an employee of a major professional sports franchise. He doesn't just have scripts, he has everything. Social security numbers, passport scans, financial documents, unreleased music tracks, 30 songs from an A-list artist's upcoming album. Not just any artist. Public reports identified the victim as one of the biggest names in R&B and hip-hop, a multi-platinum, Grammy-winning superstar whose unreleased album would have been worth millions. The album was scheduled to drop in months. Knowles had it all. Every track, studio versions, unfinished demos. For the artists, this wasn't just theft. It was potentially career-destroying leverage. Private photos, intimate personal videos, scripts from upcoming movies and TV shows that hadn't been released yet, including scripts from major studios like 20th Century Fox. Among them, scripts from the Tupac Shakur biopic All Eyes on Me, then in pre-production, stolen from one of the film's producers. He shows the agent watermarked scripts as proof. He plays tracks from unreleased albums. He promises he can get more, much more. The agent asks how he does it. Knowles is happy to explain. The undercover agent is taking notes. Every word is evidence. Every brag is another charge. Another year in prison.
2 techniques, both surprisingly simple. Both learned from YouTube tutorials and malware purchased from online forums. Knowles wasn't a trained cybersecurity expert. He wasn't a genius programmer. He was a former DJ who spent years experimenting. First on friends and family accounts, then scaling up to celebrities once he understood the mechanics. It started small. friends' accounts, then local celebrities in the Bahamas, then a minor actor, then a breakout TV star. Each successful hack made Knowles bolder, more reckless, more convinced he was untouchable. Method 1. Send a virus, a piece of malware attached to an email or a download link. Once the victim clicks it, Knowles has access to their entire computer. Keyloggers capture passwords as they're typed. He can watch everything they do in real time. Method 2. The fake security alert. Knowles would send phishing emails dressed as security alerts, warning victims that their accounts had been hacked. The email would ask them to send their passwords to tech support to fix the problem. Let's take one specific example. Victim number 47, a TV producer. Knowles sends an email that looks exactly like it came from iCloud Security. The sender address is slightly misspelled, but who's checking? Subject line: suspicious login detected. Verify your account immediately. The email has Apple's logo, the formatting is perfect, it warns that someone in Russia tried to access the account. There's a link. Click here to secure your account. One click. That's all it took. And people fell for it. High-profile people who should have known better. One victim almost caught him. A Hollywood executive noticed strange activity in their email, changed their password immediately, felt smart, felt secure. Knowles simply sent another phishing email the next day. They fell for it again. Once inside an email account, Knowles didn't just steal what was already there. He would change the account settings to maintain continuous access, then delete notifications from the email provider so victims wouldn't know their settings had been changed. And here's what made his operation truly devastating: the cloud. Email passwords gave him the keys to everything connected to that account. iCloud, Dropbox, Google Drive, all the places where people store their most valuable digital assets. Scripts, music, photos, documents, everything centrally located, ready to download. This is how Knowles was able to amass such an enormous collection. He wasn't just grabbing individual files from someone's laptop, he was raiding their entire digital life, systematically downloading everything from their cloud storage accounts. Silent, invisible, persistent access to everything. And here's the genius, or the paranoia, behind his targeting strategy. Knowles didn't always go after celebrities directly. He would look at gossip magazines, identify who celebrities were photographed with, and hack those friends instead. Once inside their accounts, he'd rifle through emails to get the celebrities' contact details. It was what he called his social engineering process. For Knowles, celebrities weren't people. They were unlocked treasure chests, digital vaults waiting to be raided. He felt no remorse because he never saw them as real, just as content, as products, as his ticket to wealth and fame. And it worked. For months, maybe longer, Knowles had been quietly collecting Hollywood secrets like trading cards. Now it was time to cash in. December 21st, 2015. The meeting is set. New York City. Knowles flies in from the Bahamas. He meets the undercover agent in person at a Manhattan location. The agent has arranged everything carefully. Backup teams are in position. Recording devices are running. This has to be clean, airtight, no room for legal challenges later. Knowles walks in confident, relaxed. He brings samples, scripts, social security numbers, documents proving he has what he claims. The undercover agent has 9 days of video calls, recordings, evidence, but they need this final piece. They need the in-person transaction. They need to catch him in the act. The agent counts out the cash slowly. $80,000. $80,000 in cash stacked on the table between them. Knowles' eyes light up. This is it, the beginning of his empire. The first big score. He reaches for the money. The agent hands it over. Knowles takes it. He's happy to incriminate himself one last time as he details his operation, talks about future deals, explains what else he can provide. And that's when Homeland Security moves in. Federal agents, hands up! The door bursts open. Agents flood the room. Knowles freezes, the cash still in his hands. Minutes later, Alonzo Knowles is in handcuffs, charged with 1 count of criminal copyright infringement and 1 count of identity theft. Each charge carries a maximum of 5 years for a combined maximum sentence of 10 years. U.S. Attorney Preet Bharara captured it perfectly. This case has all of the elements of the kind of blockbuster script the defendant is alleged to have stolen: hacks into celebrities' private emails, identity theft, and attempts to sell victims' information to the highest bidder. Unfortunately, these circumstances are all too real.
The arrest makes headlines. Celebrity hacker caught trying to sell stolen scripts and private content. At this point, authorities don't know the full scope of what they've uncovered. Because back in the Bahamas, sitting in Noel's home is a laptop. And on that laptop, everything. But there was one thing prosecutors weren't expecting. One piece of evidence that would change everything about his sentencing.
As the case develops, the real impact becomes clear. For these victims, this wasn't about money. It was about control, about privacy, about trust, about the violation of having your most private moments, your creative work, your personal identity stolen and held for ransom by a stranger who saw you as nothing more than a payday. One victim steps forward publicly, Naturi Naughton, an actress on the Starz hit show Power. She records a video statement for the court, explaining that Knowles had hacked into her personal email account and stolen 6 scripts from her show. It wasn't just theft. Knowles threatened to release the stolen Power scripts publicly, entire seasons worth of episodes, if Naughton, along with the show's producer 50 Cent and showrunner Courtney Kemp, didn't pay him. He boasted he could ruin the show by leaking everything before it aired, destroying the show's value and potentially crippling its production. In her statement, Naughton says, "I felt violated. This man hacked into my personal emails, my account, jeopardized my job by potentially trying to sell scripts to my show, Power. I know a lot of public figures and celebrities go through this, so the only reason I wanted to talk about this was I'm sick of it. People in the public eye being treated like we can just be hacked into." She adds that the experience made her feel more violated and out of control than ever in her entire life. Other victims shared similar trauma. One changed all their passwords, enabled 2-factor authentication on everything, stopped trusting emails from anyone. The paranoia was overwhelming. Every notification felt like another breach. Every email looked suspicious. 20th Century Fox submits a letter to the court describing the danger Knowles posed. Other victims, athletes, musicians, executives, submit impact statements. Most choose to remain anonymous, but the message is clear. This wasn't a victimless crime. These were real people. Their careers, their relationships, their sense of security, all violated. Federal prosecutors chose to charge Knowles with just 2 counts, not because he didn't hack 130 people, but because they wanted a clean case built on ironclad evidence from the undercover sting. They could have pursued dozens of additional charges, but the strategy was prosecutorial efficiency. Swift conviction, maximum impact. Knowles pleaded guilty in May 2016 to copyright infringement and identity theft. His lawyer suggested a sentence of 14 months. Federal guidelines recommended 27 to 33 months. The judge could have followed those guidelines, could have given Knowles 2 years, maybe less with good behavior. If Knowles had stayed quiet, if he'd never written those jailhouse emails, if he'd shown genuine remorse, he could have been out by 2018, maybe 2019 at the latest. But then prosecutors revealed what Knowles had been writing from jail, and everything changed.
While awaiting sentencing, Knowles had access to the Bureau of Prisons email system. Inmates can use it to communicate with friends and family, but their messages are monitored. Everything is logged. Everything is evidence. Knowles didn't care. Or maybe he didn't believe anyone was reading. Or maybe he just couldn't help himself. Because Knowles couldn't stop talking. Even from behind bars, even facing years in prison, he couldn't resist bragging, couldn't resist the urge to be seen, to be known, to be feared. "When I get out, I'm gonna shake up Hollywood for real," he wrote in one email. In another, he bragged about his planned book. "I'm name-dropping everyone involved in what I know, and I'm including pictures of paperwork that ain't public." He said he would charge $35 per copy and would later hack Twitter accounts to promote his book. His objective, he explained, was to earn money through gossiping, since everyone loves gossip. He identified specific celebrities whose accounts he'd hacked to fellow inmates. He boasted to women he was writing to, trying to impress them with tales of his hacks and the embarrassing information he had on famous people. Even more damning, Knowles stated in his prison correspondence that he was willing to serve additional time in prison in order to retain his laptop, the one still in the Bahamas, the one with all the stolen data. He still thought he could profit from this. After prison, a book, publicity, fame, he saw himself as a celebrity now, someone who'd infiltrated Hollywood from the outside, someone people would want to hear from. He was already planning his comeback. Prosecutors presented all of this to the judge. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Greenberg called Knowles' motivation greed, saying he had a singular focus on becoming rich and famous by disseminating personal information of celebrities and exploiting them. The jailhouse emails weren't just evidence of his mindset, they were proof he would do it again. Proof that prison hadn't changed him. Proof that the moment he had access to the internet again, he would be back at it.
December 6th, 2016. Sentencing day. Before the judge announces his decision, Knowles apologizes. He says he knows what he did was wrong. He expresses remorse. He promises he's changed. But U.S. District Judge Paul A. Engelmeyer isn't buying it. He explicitly states he finds the apology unpersuasive. The judge reads from Knowles' jailhouse communications, including the promise to shake up Hollywood. He reads the plans for the book, the threats to hack again, the complete lack of understanding about what he'd done wrong. He calls the messages troubling and says they demonstrate Knowles would be a clear and present danger to commit the very same crime again. Judge Engelmeyer says Knowles' jail conversations resulted in his prison sentence being doubled, as it demonstrated that he was not showing any genuine remorse and continued to pose a threat to society. The sentence? 5 years in federal prison, roughly double what the guidelines recommended. Unavoidably, Mr. Knowles, the public has a significant interest in your being behind bars in federal prison, where you have no access to the internet and no practical ability to do such harm, the judge tells him. In addition to prison time, Knowles is ordered to forfeit nearly $2,000, plus the contents of his digital arsenal, 25 unpublished scripts, 30 unreleased songs, 182 documents containing personal identification information, including passport scans and social security numbers, behind-the-scenes production contracts, all found in his Dropbox account, the cloud storage he used to centralize his stolen empire. His laptop in the Bahamas, the one with all the additional stolen celebrity data, is seized by a court-appointed receiver and destroyed. No book, no publicity, no fortune. Just 5 years behind bars.
Alonzo Knowles began serving his sentence in December 2016. With good behavior, he would have been released around 2021. Where he is now, what he's doing, that information isn't public. But the case left its mark on Hollywood. The theft prompted conversations about digital security in the entertainment industry, multi-factor authentication, stronger passwords, better phishing awareness training. Studios started implementing stricter security protocols for unreleased content. Because here's the thing, Knowles wasn't a genius. His methods weren't sophisticated. He didn't exploit zero-day vulnerabilities or crack military-grade encryption. He sent fake emails. He tricked people into clicking links. He relied on one fundamental truth. People trust what looks official. People want to help when they think something's wrong. And people reuse passwords. 130 victims. Actors, athletes, musicians, executives. All it took was one click. The fappening in 2014 had already shown how vulnerable celebrities were to hacking. This case proved it wasn't an isolated incident. It was an ongoing threat. Not Turi Naughton's words echo. I'm sick of it. People in the public eye being treated like we can just be hacked into. But this isn't just about celebrities. It's about all of us. Our emails, our photos, our private lives. The assumption that what we send, what we save, what we say in confidence stays private. Knowles violated that trust for money, for fame, for the thrill of having power over people who seemed untouchable.